So yesterday we looked at law of sine. Today we're going to look at law of cosine. So the three of these formulas are all very similar to each other. It really just depends which one you're using based on what you are actually solving in the problem. So like if you're solving for A, you're going to use the first one. If you're solving for B or for C, it depends on how your question is going to be set up. So looking at a law of cosine question. So when you are going to use law of cosine over law of sine is when you're given, in this specific example, you're given three side lengths. So you don't know any of the angle measures. So in this scenario, you're going to use law of cosine to be able to find one of your missing angle measures. Then we'll talk about how to find all of the other ones in order to get to your actual answer. So for this question, it says a triangular area of lawn has a sprinkler located at each vertex, so your corners of your triangles. If the sides of the lawn are A is equal to 19, B is equal to 24.3, and C is equal to 21.8, what angle of sweep should each sprinkler be at to cover the lawn? So it's asking you to find all three angle measures for this question. So the first thing that would be helpful is to kind of draw a visual of your triangle. So if this is side A, B, and C, this would be angle A, angle B, and then angle C. So I know the side of A is equal to 19, the side of B is equal to 24.3, and C is equal to 21.8. From here, it's really up to you which of these angle measures you want to find first. It doesn't matter. With that, you can really pick any of your formulas because you know all of your side lengths. So you're really just picking one of them to start with. The one that I picked to start with when I did this question was the middle one that says b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2 times ac times cosine b. So I know all of these lowercase letters, and then the capital B is the angle measure which I'm trying to find. So the first thing is really just plugging into this. So I'm plugging in B for my side length. I'm plugging in A for my side lengths. I'm plugging in C, and then A and C again, times cosine B. From here, you're really just simplifying stuff. So all of the things that are squared would be my starting point. So like the 24.3 squared, the 19 squared, and the 21.8 squared. I would go through and do all of that first and simplify. So whenever you square all of this, you would end up with this as kind of your next step. From here, I would then go through and add these two things together for your next step. So whenever you add these, you would get 836.24. This section right here, and you can do this in a different step or you can kind of do it now, but those three things need to be multiplied. So I'm going to do -2 times 19 and then times 21.8. So that's really just a matter of plugging into your calculator and solving. So from here, I've simplified all of my big numbers, combined like terms, all of these things. This is an important step to pay attention to. The 836.24 and the 828.4 cannot be subtracted from each other because this 828.4 is being multiplied by the cosine b. So yes, they are both whole numbers. However, because this is connected to cosine, I cannot subtract them. So my next step would actually be taking the 836.24 and subtracting it to the other side. Then I'm going to actually subtract that and get negative 245.75 is equal to specifically negative 828.4 times cosine B. From here, I'm still trying to solve for B. So I'm going to divide by my negative 828.4. Oh, wrote my numbers wrong. And then ultimately, this cosine, I'm going to divide by to get B by itself. So I really have a fraction divided by a fraction. When we've done this, we've talked about like your cosine is actually moving up. So this would be cosine -1 and your numbers. So this chunk is what you're going to plug into your calculator in order to get your angle measure. So you're going to hit second, and then cosine, above the cosine is that cosine -1, and then type in your negative 245.75 divided by negative 828.4. So whenever you do that, you will get the angle measure of B is equal to 72.7. So, so far, I did all of that work to just find this one angle measure. So it does ask me to find the other two angle measures. It asks me to find the angle of each sprinkler. So my next step is really up to you. Because you need to find angle A, B, and C, technically you could use law of cosine. The first formula, so looking back up here, the first formula would find angle A, this finds angle B, and then your third one finds angle C. So technically you could do this very long formula 3 times to find all 3 sides. I would, for my second one, resort to law of sine. So what that would look like, and I'm gonna erase some of this. So step 2 would be finding one of your other angle measures. So either angle A or angle C. So again, up to you which one you're gonna find first. So law of sine is what we did yesterday. So sine of A, like angle A over side A is equal to sine angle B over side B. So at the moment, the only thing that I know completely is angle B and side B. And then from here, whichever one you want to solve next. So if you want to solve side A or side B, or specifically angle A or angle B, would be determining which you plug in next. When I did it, I solved for angle A next. So I had sine A over my side length of A, which is 19. And then this is what we did yesterday. So cross multiplying and getting 24.3 sine A is equal to 19 times sine 72.7. I would divide by 24.3 on both sides. Because I'm finding an angle measure, I would also divide by sine. No, it's kind of hard to see. So this right here would really turn into A is equal to sine -1. So I have a fraction divided by a fraction. So my sine's going to move up. And then 19 sine 72.7 over 24.3. So this whole chunk right here is what I'm plugging into my calculator to find angle A. Whenever you do that, you would get 48.3 as your next angle measure. From here, now that you know 2 angle measures, your third one is much, much easier to find. So you know that a triangle adds to 180. So I would do 180 minus the 72.7 that I found from angle B. And then I would then subtract the 48.3 that I just found for angle A. Whenever you do that, you are left with 59, which would be your angle measure of C. So that is your answer for example 5, because it asks you to find all 3 angle measures that you were missing. There are multiple ways to start this. You could have started in step 1 using law of cosine to find angle A. Step 2 could have then been finding angle C. And then you could use your missing parts to find angle B. So really up to you how you choose to start. Your call, whatever makes kind of the most sense to you on these types of questions.